What's going on, y'all? Welcome to another episode of Problems and Solutions Podcast. First episode of the year. We got a special guest coming on. He's going to tell you us about. We got some actors on today, so he's going to tell us about his lifestyle, how he got into movies, how he got into acting. Without further ado, we'd like to bring him on, Mr. Daniel Johnson.
Like I say, the acting is definitely been a journey from the beginning.
Hold on, bro. You know what I'm saying? Let me. What's going on? Introduce you, Mr. Daniel Johnson. We worked on a project together, Play, as a matter of fact. You know what I'm saying? That we worked on, we did, that I had a lot of fun on. But, you know what I'm saying? Introduce yourself to the world, brother.
My name is Daniel Johnson. I've been in the acting community for a little bit over 5 years, but I've always been in the arts for, I would say, definitely over like 10 years. Mm-hmm. Okay. It's definitely been a journey from the beginning, getting into acting, starting off in background. I remember my first audition was going out for the movie with Toni Braxton, as far as like, they did a whole Lifetime movie of her, and I auditioned for The Husband, but I didn't get that role. But then I kind of liked the way they did the audition process and everything, and I said, okay, I'm gonna learn this craft and keep advancing, So
yeah. Well, you said you've been in for like 10 years?
Yeah, I've been in the arts for like 10 years, but I've really been honing in for like the last a little bit over 5 years. Like working from background and getting great supporting roles into like lead roles.
Okay.
And I know I met you like being on the theater set of Oasis, that little house called Mouse. Been on that, and that was very nice.
Yeah, I definitely enjoyed myself doing that. So, did you go to school for, or you just went into it learning step by step, or you know what I'm saying?
Okay. I didn't go to school for it, but what I did, like I was an athlete when I was in college, right? Mm-hmm. So then after that, I went and said, so let me try this audition thing and see what this acting is all about. And I kind of got like into that, like after doing a couple plays and everything. And then I was like, okay, I think I like this, because it's kind of competitive in its nature too, when you're auditioning for different roles and whatnot, so
yeah.
And then from there, like this, the athlete in me and the competitiveness kicked in. So I loved it.
Does your brother act too, or he just he acts too? Your brother?
No, he does act. My brother does act as well. Funny thing with that is that like some people will see some of the stuff that he's in, and they be like, oh man, I seen you in a new commercial, that movie, whatnot. Like Nate. I'm like, no, I'm not Nate. Like if it's close enough, I'll explain the situation. If not, I'll be like, like I'll wave and everything, and I'm like, I act too, So, but yeah, he has his own thing that he does. I know he's more acclimated to like the behind the scenes as far as like production and everything, but he does act.
Okay, that's what's up. Mm-hmm. Was your first experience like? Did you always want to act, or you're just when you was in college? Did you take it up? Did you always think about it?
I always thought about it. Like, I think I kind of got really caught up in the acting thing. I can go back to my childhood when my sister, Minnie Johnson, used to put us on as far as like in her plays and different things we used to do. So we used to always do this dress up thing and acting, and it was always like in my mind, but like I said, I was more of an athlete when I was in college, but then when I got out, the competitiveness of just auditioning and it's just trying to be like on point with everything. That was what I really got like caught up in, and I like being a different character every single time. So,
What's some of the movies you've been in?
Well, I would say, as movie series. Okay, we go to series Escape at Dannemora. I was in that. Ma Rainey's Black Bottom, which I really like that one. That has the late Chadwick Boseman He had passed away. And then we got Viola Davis was in that, with Denzel Washington being the producer, one of my mentors. I really like him a lot. Let me see. Then we got The Banker, which has my other favorite actor in there is Samuel L. Jackson. Anthony Mackie's in that. So I did that when I was in Atlanta. Then I got some of my late projects that did come out called The Boonies. And I was a pretty strong character in that as well as in Marcus. And then, got some different new projects that's coming out as well. Like one named as Swipe that's going to come out. This newest one that's like God's Love Saved Me. That was when I was in Chicago. And then we have another one that's coming out like What Happens in the Dark. Okay. So I'm really happy about that one.
So you working?
Yeah, I'm really working, man. I got this a couple like different things going on all at the same time simultaneously. So, I'm just really happy to be in this position.
Yeah. Could you speak on, because I think like most people get confused with they see the final product of what you're in and don't know about the work that goes into it behind it. Could you speak to that? You know what I'm saying? Like to give a better picture and like what would help inspiring actor or actress, you know what I'm saying, that can move them forward.
Okay, I would say to get started, like go into like background. I would say you would get used to being around like the cameras and how they speak their lingo, because every production is different as far as like when they're giving the like when to go, and just get real familiar with the like I said, the lingo, the way they communicate amongst each other, so you're on point when you go to different sets as well. Like every set is different, but you just got to pay attention. Background's a great place to start. Watch how they're around, like even the lead characters, because one day that could be you. Understand like there's different positions as well, and watch how they operate as a team. So you're on point, like just being like focused on what the director just wants and what they want. Just give them everything that they want by paying attention. They really like people who pay attention and listen. They really don't have a lot of time to mess around with the with even background. Like if you're messing around and you don't understand about like certain movements or whatnot, you got to understand you're part of a multi-million-dollar something budget. They will cut you in a minute if you do not pay attention.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, starting off in background gives you a good sense about like, like what kind of direction like you would need to go and see if you really want to be on set. Because a lot of people don't understand. They're like, yeah, you're on set like 8, 12 hours, plus days, and people get, like they get real familiar with you, like have your name out there as a person who is on time. You're showing up, you're listening, you're doing everything that they're asking you of. Being on time is very critical if you're going to still advance, if you're going to make like moves on to the next level. I know a lot of people ask me like, hey, which way should I go? Like there is no shortcuts. I would say you have to stay in tune to like what's around you. Just be very focused.
Yeah.
Go out to the open casting calls. You're not going to just slide into like a lead role. It doesn't work that way. You got to work your way up to that point. It's not about like, hey, I know so-and-so was on this set, then get me right in. No, it doesn't work that way. You got to work your way up to a point of where you're there and you're just networking as well for those opportunities. But like every opportunity I look as like a success. I don't believe like in all in the failure. You're always learning, like, so, like get you really used to like the auditioning process, know what they want, have your headshots ready, if you have a resume, have it ready.
Mm-hmm.
What else could I say? Yeah, show up, just show up, just show up and be there. And like most auditions only take like maybe like long, if it's a long audition, it's going to take like maybe a minute, but most times it's only 30 seconds. So be ready.
So what do you look for in them? What do they look for in them? What's something? You just said it. Casting calls. Like looking for their actor. What do most people that's looking for their characters? What do they look for? Like what do they want to see in a person when they're doing a casting call?
Well, when they're doing a casting call, they're going to be real specific in their casting call. They're going to give you, like what they're looking for as far as like hey, we want a clean shaven guy. Whether if they go down to like African American, Caucasian, Asian, they'll say all that in there. And if this is, like a multicultural, they'll say that as well. Give them the information they specifically want in the email. They don't like looking through a whole bunch of things they're not asking for. They skim over these things for like thousands of emails they get. They're just trying to look at it, look at your headshot, have that prepared, a nice clear headshot. I would say if you're a woman, right, don't have a lot of makeup on, very minimal, and have the lighting, have it very clear, because that's what they're going to look for. They want you to look like your current picture. Don't show up, not looking like your picture that you had like 8 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
You have it very current when you show up.
Not to cut you off, we're like, so you said they look for, what do they look for? Have your pictures and everything. Where would they go to get that? Like, is that professional that you should do?
Well, yeah, you should do that. Like, look around your area. I know, like around here, like in Pittsburgh, you can find a lot of good cameramen that will do that. As far as like your headshot, they're gonna ask for your mid shot, which is basically your mid chest and up, and they're gonna ask for a full body length photo. Mm-hmm. Those are the 3 top photos they're gonna ask for, and make sure that those are clear. They don't have to even be professional, but you have to have your lighting really well. That's what they're looking for. They don't want I know we're real specific. They don't want you to go ahead and have a bunch of editing going on as far as like some of these filters that have on some of these cameras. Be very careful of that, because they zoom in, they know.
Okay. In your experience, would you say that being a person of color, has that affected your job opportunities? Have you experienced, would you say there's racism in casting calls?
Racism in casting calls. I would say, me per se, I haven't experienced that. I've heard other stories of other people who say they have. Mm-hmm. I would say that nowadays for, African Americans, for sure, that like we are more, we're more privy to like casting calls as far as like people wanting us to be in their television and the film, because we have more opportunities. But I know it did exist, a very long time, like in the past, and like I said, like I didn't ever, like ever experience any of that, but I've heard people who have. Mm-hmm. But I would say there's been people back in the day that definitely paved the way for opportunities like I have now.
Okay. I can see it. What would you say would be your favorite movie? Like your favorite experience, like set to work on? And why?
Oh man. Let me see. So I did like The Banker when I did that down with Samuel L. Jackson and Anthony Mackie down in Atlanta. That was nice. Just to see even the character of Samuel L. Jackson and Anthony Mackie get into character was very like awakening, the way that they did themselves. But everybody's different. But I liked Ma Rainey's Black Bottom. That was really good. I got to give it up to like Viola Davis. I seen her get into character, like it was just like it was easy, But she's very communicative to the people, everybody around. But I've seen her work, and she's phenomenal. So I would say Ma Rainey's Black Bottom. That was good, because I got a thumbs up from Denzel Washington, which is always cool. Yeah. That's definitely one of my people that I love to watch. So when I seen him watching me do my montage scene, it was pretty good. It's pretty good.
So what are some of your steps that you use to get into character? Like, I'm saying, what is your process in learning the script and bringing that character to life? And does your scripts mimic you, or do you pick scripts like that?
I pick scripts that I can identify with, or if I've been around like people who have been those kind of characters before. And what I like to do is I dissect the script that I look at, and I try to take it apart as far as like seeing me in that character by reading it over and over, and see what parts I can relate to and what parts I've seen just in life in general. So I'll go over it, I'll read it, I'll get real familiar with it. So like just like on the fly, you want to be able to adapt to any given situation. So when you're studying a script, you don't want to just be studying it one way, because if the director tells you to do it another way, you got to be able to do it just like that another way. because some people only remember it one way that they study it. They might say that this kind of enunciation, this as far as like when they're speaking it, but like they might want you to take it down, talk with this kind of dialect, this kind of movement, and be able to adjust, be adaptable all the time. Just going over and over with the head, become real familiar with this, so you don't have to be just like trying to remember words and you're dropping lines and whatnot. And I just find myself going over and over and over and over and over and over, just like in just regular life of the script running through my head before I even start to even just like vocalize it. But you want to just have it there so you can just easy access.
Okay.
So that's like my process. And my process also too, it's not like everybody's, but like what I like to do, like especially if it comes to like theater or like some sets, you'll see me off to the side a little bit. As far as like, some people can be joking the whole time up until the moment and get right into the character. I like to be like, a little bit off to the side, like going over the script, like role playing it in my head, how I'm going to deliver. And it depends how serious the scene is. I have to be that way to get into true character so I can deliver how they want me to deliver.
Okay. Has there ever been a role that it was difficult for you to get into because of the way the script was? Because let me give you an example, like, because Samuel Wells' character in the Django.
Okay.
Okay, and there was I guess a recent movie with Fred Hampton. What's the guy that played the I forgot his name. And he said he had a difficult time going into the character because of the what he was to the, you know what I'm saying, like who Fred Hampton was and what he was doing. Like he had to he felt like the cop that, you know what I'm saying, like his feelings got the character.
You're talking about Stanfield.
Yeah,
right? The Stanfield character. Yes. Yeah, some people do have like a difficult time going into characters that they're not like absolutely like that's not them. But like getting into those kind of characters, I feel like you got to do some deep, like like searching, like for yourself to really to adapt. Let me see. So if I'm talking about myself, let me see. Getting into character, as far as even like the new role that I play, that's coming out, as far as like the what happens in the dark. Get into like that gangster role. Like just being able to adapt to like how it is in that kind of environment, because it's just different things as far as like how you conduct yourself and how you move. Like versus like maybe some other films where it's like more like of a positive message with it or whatever. Maybe this other guy, he's really really evil and have to get into like this kind of like thug mentality and do these different things. And just being able to like do research and understand like what the director is really expecting of you in this role. It does take like you some time to do your own research and kind of step aside and read the script so you can deliver exactly like action wise and line wise. So.
Okay, because being though I'm into acting and I'm into like, you know what I'm saying, wanting to do acting things. I hear actors talk about coming out of the role, as far as coming out of that character, you know what I'm saying, like releasing from the character, and how stressfully and mentally draining it is once you're so tied into that character to back away from it, to come back to who you are. You know what I'm saying? Right. Like, could you speak to that? Have you ever experienced that? And could you speak to that? Like, have you ever known any other actor that went through that?
Yeah, I know. Multiple actors who have done that. I know I've done that with some roles. Not to give away some of my new projects. But I can talk about like when you get into character, you study them so much, the lines, and getting into that kind of a character that you do actually feel like that, like going through life. You've got to take. I think after you get done doing that movie, take a breather. You know, like I would say, it's always good to treat mental health. Like if you do got a therapist, it's not bad to talk to one if you need one. Like if you're really in depth in the character, you can find yourself, you know, like being depressed if that's not you, but you played a really solid role. You know, and I know, you know, just taking some time away from a little bit, you know, taking a break before you get into something else, it really helps, you know, because yeah, you can find yourself being like really down, you know, especially if there's been a real like a role that doesn't really identify with you versus the fact that like you adapted to that character. You gotta take a break, man.
Wow, yeah, that's deep. Cause like what brings it up is Heath Ledger. I don't know if that. I've heard that. You know what I'm saying? I don't want to say what it was. That was it, but I've heard that character he couldn't break away from of the Joker.
Yeah.
Because like the role he played in that, I think that was the best Joker in any movie that I saw. And the depths that I think the depths that you got to go to mentally to become who the Joker was, like, you know what I'm saying? Because he brought a different Joker to the game,
right?
Like, man, I've never in the comics Joker's dark, so I feel like he was the best one that brought who the Joker was to the screen. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
So like when I said that, it just brought back to him like what that was and like how mentally draining it could be to let go of something like a character or something. You know what I'm saying?
Right. He was really good. You know, I got to give it up to him. He was really into that character, and he's honestly my best Joker. You know, I know the other Batman who had came out, he did a really good job, but that was a whole different kind of a Joker. But I like the way Ledger played his, but like he was so deep into character. You know, like. And that's another like a perfect example of why, you know, like you need like help like afterwards, you know, like to really take a break. Yeah. You need that therapist to really help you get back to like what regular life is. But he was so into his character. And man, yeah, because it can really be mentally draining. Yeah. And before you know, you like, cause you gotta imagine like you be on set, especially if you're leading a film. You can be on set for like, you know, like 9 months, right? So it's like 8 to 12 hours or even longer, like a day, you know, per day when you're doing that. And that's a lot of hours dedicated to just being in character like that.
Yeah. So you had a chance to work with Chadwick Boseman.
Yes.
He's one of my favorite people, like just, as a person, because I'm saying like in his speeches and how he spoke, you know what I'm saying, how he liked in the role, even in the roles he played, he was his spirit was, you know what I'm saying, like one of the ones, you know what I'm saying. When you say one of the ones, like they come around every so often, you know what I'm saying, that you get to latch a hold to. Tell me about your experience on set with him. Like what would you describe him as a person?
Okay, Chadwick Boseman, I seen him get into character. He's pretty good. Like I said, I was on a Ma Rainey set with him, and when he on that set, he was like a little bit like to himself. But I see him engage with other people as far as like he would laugh with them, he would conversate with them. But when he was getting into character, you could tell when he was seriously thinking, you know, like about delivering that powerful performance that he did on there, like. He's good. Like he was really, really good. But like, yeah, you could tell that he was like in really deep like thought, just getting into the character and watching him deliver his performance was amazing to see. And I would suggest like if any like actor get around like you know, A-list actors like that, you know, pick up your notes, you know, because there's a lot to be, you know, like that's there, like pick up a little bit here, a little there, and just watch how they do. It doesn't necessarily mean you have to do everything exactly the way they get into character, but you can see like the professionalism in them. And if you've seen the movie Ma Rainey and watch them deliver some of that dialogue, that was really heavy dialogue and really explosive dialogue at times. And it's just bring it down, and then like when it was high, right, you could just see the different levels and change. You know, that's what a real professional like does, and I think he embodied that fully. like in that movie. You could tell like he was really bringing it.
Now, was he what in that movie? Was he sick?
Yeah, they said he was like sick. That like, you know, cause like everybody else, I don't know how everybody else took it, but like, you know, he did look, you know, smaller than like what Black Panther. Obviously, yeah, he had all the muscles and stuff, but he had a suit on for the Ma Rainey thing. I was like, I expected him when I saw him, like to be like, you know, like this really jacked individual, but you know, like maybe that's just like what it was looking like in person. But then I didn't know he was sick at the time. No one did.
So, I hear that a lot too. That nobody knew that he was sick because of the way he carried himself.
Right. So like it seemed like his spirit was up. I seen him engage with other people. Like I said, like when he was getting into character, he would get real serious. But I've seen, you know, you see him on set, you see him laughing. No, it wasn't like he was running around talking about like I guess his condition that he was in. But during that set, you know, he was going through it. Obviously, he was sick, but you couldn't tell from like his interactions with people, people who knew him closely.
Yeah. You work with some greats, yo. Like Samuel Jackson. Tell me about that. Like, what was that like? You know what I'm saying?
Oh, yeah, seeing him, like seeing him just get into character. Like he's a comedian, just I think by heart also as well. Even though like he does serious roles, but I seen him just like, you know, like he jokes like looks you know, like dead in your face, and it's just funny. You know, like how he delivers and everything. But I seen him like being on set, like even when he wasn't even part of the scene, like he was watching, you know, and he actually has even another you know, like as far as like a double, everybody thought that was him down there in the banker, but it wasn't him. It was another double that he had there. But he was there. He would watch even the scene that like I did with Anthony Mackie, and he's like a real true professional. Like as far as like he's always like dissecting like his parts, and he's always observing, always looking. But he's not he's not like standoffish. Like he's afraid to communicate with anybody on set. You know, like he's very like a straightforward person, I would say. But you can tell he's very professional the way he delivered his lines and the way that he moved, just like, you know, just being on set, just being around him. You know, it's very surreal, you know, like dang, you know, I seen this dude on TV, now I'm around him.
Yeah, that was my next question. like because Anthony Mackie, he's been around for a minute too. I remember him back in the day when I forget the movie he was in, where he was a guy, he was a player or something, or he was a prostitute or something. I forgot what the name of the movie was.
What movie is that? I don't know that one.
What is the name? But he's been around for a minute. Like, are you like when you are you first? Let me ask you this: are you starstruck when you meet these people, and how long after that do you really? You know what I'm saying, it becomes okay. This is my job. I got to carry. You know what I'm saying? Do what I need to do on the set.
Yeah. I don't think like that. I would say starstruck. I had, you know, everybody has a perception of which they would see people maybe and stuff. Samuel Jackson taller than I thought he was. It's pretty tall, you know. But like Denzel Washington, I would say if I was starstruck, maybe him walking across the street and also giving me the thumbs up and stuff. That was like slow motion for me for a little bit. I saw we're about to come at the same intersection, you know. So, but like he was just cool and relaxed. But like, yeah, going into each set, you know, like just being like, you know, like, oh man, I'm gonna come across these people, the professionalism like in me, and you know, like I'm not really starstruck, but what I am struck by is more the professionalism in which they conduct and do their character, and they're not always in character, but just seeing like the real human side of them and seeing how they communicate. Like, you know what, you know, that's kind of cool. I know a friend like that, or that's something I would have did. That's pretty cool, you know. But like, but yeah, you know, like it is pretty cool to see some of these people that we see on TV often. Yeah. And just to be around them, but like, you know, you can pick up things from them. You be like, wow, I'm really here. I'm really doing this. Yeah, you know, that's my experience.
Miss Viola, she's nice too. Like I really enjoy her acting. Even in Fences. Like Denzel is one of my favorites. Okay. Denzel is one of my like all-time favorites. You know, I put him up there with De Niro and what's the other guy's name? De Niro. De Niro. Scarface.
Al Pacino.
Al Pacino.
Okay.
I'll put Denzel at top tier to me.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
Yes. Yeah. He got to be. To me, like, yeah, he's top tier for me as well. Like, he's up there. He's just very calm and collected. But seeing him also get in character in some of those other films, he's very powerful. Performer.
Yeah.
You know.
Because
Viola Davis, got to give it up to her too as well. Like you mentioned her, like she's just phenomenal. Just seeing her career, how it's just like blossomed to what it is,
Mm-hmm. To Get Away with Murder, me and my wife used to watch that faithfully. You know what I'm saying? Like that was one of our shows we sit down and watch. How to Get Away with Murder. So I always liked her too. Like because Denzel directed Fences, didn't he? Like he was the
yes, he was in that. Yeah, he has a couple of different August Wilson, like even other like future films coming from that. Because like from what I understand and stuff, he does have like about like I think 3 more coming from that. When he comes to Pittsburgh, he loves the film here. Just seeing him connect with the people in the Hill District area, the area where August Wilson grew up, that's phenomenal. Just seeing how he's just a real people person as well.
Because he definitely dropped some gems on you. Like even in his interviews with people interview, like he's very aware. It seems like he's like a very woke. I don't want to say woke. You know what I'm saying? Because woke got that stigma on it, but
the
spirituality of what I'm saying, like the greater thinker. You know what I'm saying? It seemed like he got that. You know what I'm saying? Even his speeches when his interviews, when people was asking him questions on the red carpet, it's like, I wouldn't say calculated, but it's what's needed to hear at that time. You know what I'm saying?
Right. Yeah, I watched him deliver a couple different things, whether he's at a college or just on the red carpet. I like how he takes in the question, right? He absorbs it, and then like he gives you a real profound answer back.
Yeah.
I think there's a lot of people who don't like actually hear or see what's all going on or what they need to actually say. Because we're in this microwave society where everybody's just trying to do something viral, some kind of soundbite, some kind of thing. But I think he really does deliver some real positive information that people need to hear, some real profound things. That's why you can hear it and you see it in him when he says it. And then he's very truthful. There's a lot of people who are not like that, but yeah, I think he's a real one, for how he delivers like the answers back. So,
what did you learn from him? Because I know he has some pep talks on set. You know what I'm saying? So like, what would you say would be the greatest thing that you learned from him? Like you could take away in your that you could use in life as far as acting.
I would say what I learned from being on set, from around him, what I seen him do.
Yeah, just interacting with what he brought. You know what I'm saying? What you learned from. Excuse me. What you took from him. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, just like watching how he's like professional and very observant about what's going on, very conscious about what's going on as well. And just seeing him just talk to the production team about like what he wants to be delivered here in this scene. Whether he's talking to like A-list actors or background, but he's very present, like in like any kind of production he's in. But I know the production as far as like Ma Rainey, like he was just like there, and when he's around. But he's very observant. He didn't have to be like, hey, like I'm Denzel, I'm the main attraction. I'm just here. But he would be like in those scenes, whether it's the camera guy getting what he's getting, and there's other other parts of the team there, but he would be there. Just like you would know, it's like if he was in a cut, he'd be watching. And you want to be around like people like that who are very observant about and very conscious about what's going on. And so they can deliver, like a positive message about how you want to move forward and stuff. Because I could say that, like I could take that from him as far as like he was there watching, and I give it up to him. And just, he would give the direction to the camera, like a little bit like this, more natural like that. So I seen him do it even with my scene that I was in with that, like we're doing a montage scene, because not all scenes are going to make the cut, whatever, to the thing. But I remember when I was doing it, he was like, yeah, tell me hold, I'm not a smoker, but tell him hold the cigarette a little bit lower and this, that, and a bunch of stuff. So just his professionalism about being just around and being very present. You like to be around those type of people, and it just helps you become better overall, just as a human.
So what is your end goal with this? Like, you know what I'm saying? Do you want to be Tom Cruise, or are you know what I'm saying? Like, what do you want? Like, what's your goals in this? Like, how far do you want to go?
Well, I just hope that like people could watch my performance and just like learn from it, as far as like a positive message is like moving forward. But also, even for like the Black community, like you don't have to just be an athlete, or like using people in music and stuff, and there's nothing wrong with that. Like if that's where it's at for you, then that's cool. You can be an athlete, you can be a person into the music and stuff, but there's other options out there for you, because like usually that's what you see, in the African American community. Like if I could be a representation of something else, like, look, man, that thing, I know that dude, that could be me. Or, you know what I mean? Like, because there's people that I used to hoop with, like even like on 12th Street, and they show me like a lot of respect, and it's like all over. You'd be like, that's the actor right there. He ain't down here no more, like hooping and stuff. But every now and then I'm down there like shooting a commercial and everything, which is pretty cool. Like I used to be in the leagues and everything, just playing ball. But like now, like, I'm like doing more acting, so I'm not in the leagues no more. But I have a lot of respect for what's going on, like as far as like even in the city of Pittsburgh, like with those different things going on. People see me, they be like, like, oh, that's the actor right there, like, like what's up, what you doing, so like, I remember the last commercial I did was on 12th Street in the South Side, and and that was pretty cool, like just being like down there and be able to shoot that commercial, or it could be like a music video. He was down there, and just the league that's down there as well. I remember doing that not too long ago, and just to be down there doing that was just so cool, because I used to play down there on a regular basis, and now it's just like everybody just like like they just give me respect for being down there and doing what I'm doing, and that's cool, being familiar territory.
That's what's up. Yeah. Like I said, I always enjoyed it. You know what I'm saying? That's one of my passions too. You know what I'm saying? Acting. Because you can just to what's the challenge to get into character, to bring that character to life. I think that's so fascinating.
Right.
Everybody can't do that. It's not, everybody can't play a character.
Yeah, true. Like I said, like me and you, we've been on the the Oasis play, right?
Yeah.
And see, like you had a very interesting character as well in that. You was able to adapt and bring that character to life.
Yeah, that was a fun character for me. That was a fun character.
Just seeing the audience and how they engage and how they laugh or they get real serious on parts and everything. I know my part was more of like, like that husband, that people didn't like you, but you can see how interactive the audience was.
Yeah.
As well, just hearing some of the responses and that, like I wasn't a good guy, I would say. like in that, I was doing certain scenes, they were like, when I came back after being like trying to get the the girl back after I had left or whatever was going on with us. We didn't have a good relationship. They were like, "Don't do it, girl."
Yeah.
You can see the looks in their face or whatever. I was like, but that's the kind of reaction that you kind of want to get if you're playing your role well and everything. I was looking at your role that you had in there and stuff. Y'all got like, the laughs and the cheers and stuff, because that means you definitely caused that reaction in there. I was like, that's how he's good. That's what's up.
I love every second of it, yo. Every second of it, I love it, yo. You know what I'm saying? I used to do plays when I was younger. You know what I'm saying? In my church, you know what I'm saying? So it's definitely like it's fun. It's fun.
Right.
It's definitely fun.
I would like to say this also too for the people who get into acting. Understand it's a journey. Understand, like, man, it's definitely a grind. You're not going to be. Cause a lot of people will see me like in these different things, like, and they think that happened all from the beginning. No, not necessarily. It's all a build-up process.
Mm-hmm.
Like, cause I know I seen you like way like more in the beginning of my career when it was kind of like more like taking off. But like,
okay. when we was interacting, you was just starting.
Right. Let me see. Don't know. It was building up as you know, like, but I know it was building. I had just came back from Memphis to Pittsburgh, and just to even do that play, you know, so talking to Corey Langford, yeah, is a guy who's running the you know, the Oasis theater and everything. So yeah, Corey. But yeah, like we did that play, and I was building up for me there, you know. But like, it's a grind, man. You'll find yourself just traveling and moving, and you know, like it's not always on the up and up, but you got to get there to that role. You got to do your thing, you know. I remember when I was just catching a bus to different auditions or different areas, and I would get dropped off and still got to go some different miles or exchanging buses. It wasn't always like, hey man, you always got an easy ride, or you had a car, had a ride there. Not necessarily. I did this for different films where I got dropped off because the bus route don't go there. Right? You still gotta walk up a hill like a mile away. Yeah. You know.
You gotta have a passion for something. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, you gotta have the passion to drive you. Yes.
Yeah. Because that's a driving force. Because if you don't got that, you'll give up every you know what I'm saying, every no. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying?
And you don't want to do that. Like, you're gonna hear some no's. Understand, like I said, it's not a fail. Everything's a learning process. Okay, like every no that you get, it's just one step closer to the goal you're gonna hit. Yeah. And you got it. Like, it's better to get that, like, you know, like, okay, look, I got to work on this, X, Y, and Z. I'm going to come back stronger and better next time. You know, like, so just getting used to like, maybe like desensitized to like, to no's, you know, auditioning all the time, putting yourself in the conversation, in the mix. And if you're in that conversation, guess what? That's a good place to be, right? Even if you didn't necessarily get the role or whatever, you're like, you know what? That's okay, because I met so-and-so, and I picked up like this, you know what I mean? Going on to the next thing that's for you.
Yeah.
So it's going to be okay, you know, especially if you got that passion, like you said.
Yeah, you got, because that's the drive.
Mm-hmm.
That's the drive. You know what I'm saying? That's
Absolutely.
The drive. Facts. So what do you, I know you can't really speak on what you got coming up, but you know what I'm saying? Like, what's next for you?
You talking about like what's the next film that's gonna come out, or what I'm into?
I know you can't really like speak to that, but like what's, you know what I'm saying? What's next for you? Like, what goals do you have now? Like, you know what I'm saying? I know you're not done. You know what I'm saying? But like, what's something you want to build to? Like, what do you want to do?
I would like to travel more, like even do some international movies. You know, like overseas. I want to do that. I'm building right now. Like, I got a couple different projects where I'm talking to a couple other directors, and this is overseas too. You know, being the lead character. So like, that's where it's going for me, and just become more acclimated to the system as far as like how it operates and how it works, as far as like getting these different roles that, you know, like that I want to be a part of. You know, like just to, you know, just show that I have range, that, you know, from this to that. You know, I might even go back to even doing like some more theater, because I think there's learning lessons in that as well as acting, you know, that can help. So like, that's where it's at for me, but just like getting more acclimated to like how the system works, as far as like getting other like strong supporting roles or lead roles, and delivering, you know, like a positive, like character. When I say positive, I'm talking about giving the director absolutely what he wants with that character. You know, it could be like it might be an evil guy. I don't know.
Yeah.
You know.
Now, this is another thing I wanted to ask you.
Right.
Being though TV is going to more streaming, like HBO Max, what's the difference? Paramount. Is it? Would you say the old guard, as far as the way movies was being made in the past? Do you think that's the new wave disrupts it, and is it better for you as an actor to have these platforms, these streaming platforms, or would you consider the old way? Would you want the old way?
No, I like the way that the new way is moving, as far as like these online streaming, you know, that they have for the movies. Whether it's like, it could be like Amazon Prime, it could be, you know, Netflix, Hulu, Spectrum, you know, HBO Max. It just gives a lot broader like Spectrum for like up and coming actors like myself to have like eyes on us as we advance in our careers, but like they still have the theater thing, but you do see the online streaming becoming more and more popular.
Yeah.
And so I'm absolutely all for it.
Okay, so that's better. That's better for you in that realm, as far as like becoming actors, the streamings, because it's more. You know what I'm saying? It's more of a budget, not a budget, but there's more places to get into now. It seems like, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, like just to even have like those eyes on you, because you think about it, like most people do got like it's on their phone or it's a smart TV, so they have all these apps. And honestly, like even with the COVID situation, a lot of people aren't going to theaters because that was shut down for like a little while. They're getting more built back up again, but a lot of people went home, so like they had to adapt. So that's what they moved to mostly right now. That's what it looks like, So I love it.
Okay, yeah. I don't know. I would like to see more independent films.
Mm-hmm.
Let me ask you something about that. Like, as far as wanting to put your own production on,
right?
Where would you like? What's the avenues that you can go for that? Like, as far as like, if you're an aspiring like director that want to get your film in front of the right people, like what's the proper? Because I know, don't you have a company, don't you?
Yeah, a production company, Johnson Twins Production. That's where like I know that I work with my brother closely, like, and he's more behind the scenes as far as the production and what goes on with that. But yeah, Johnson Twins Productions, like where you can get your stuff on to, Amazon Prime and Spectrum and Netflix and stuff. Just knowing the algorithm at which, like as far as like how they move, but understanding like the process. And submitting what they want. Everybody has different requirements, how many minutes something's supposed to be. Like even like submitting your stuff to festivals, getting eyes on it. They might have some backing, and then they might submit again, for some of these streaming channels and whatnot, I would say. So, understanding, like I say, Amazon Prime is probably going to be like one of the easiest ones to try to get in, There's a lot of people who are doing that. But I'm all for the independent films because I've worked on a lot of them, and to just be accustomed to the rules and requirements that they're asking for, still deliver a quality performance, have a quality production, put it together, edit it, and and a strong team that's gonna push it out there, get the eyes on it.
Yeah.
Like so, if you're thinking about like doing some independent films, I would suggest that like do that. Like obviously, like YouTube even has their own, platform as well, where a lot of people will put it on there and push it out. So,
okay. Yeah, because on the show, I want to give people, like you said earlier, like there's more than just rapping and sports. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Other avenues that you can get to the bag, as the youngsters would say, get to the bag. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
But they needed to know that there's other avenues that we can flourish in. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
I feel like a lot of kids would want to be actors, but they just scared of what they'll be thought of by their peers. You know what I'm saying? There's a lot of dudes that can sing, but they don't sing because they don't want their homies clowning. You know what I'm saying? So like I think a lot of us hold back out of fear of somebody talking about us and into what our true meaning and passion is. You know what I'm saying?
Right. Yeah, I would say like you got to get over that. And I know there's different communities, different neighborhoods that are different. But yeah, there's always going to be someone who's going to say something, whether it's good or negative.
Mm-hmm.
Like you just gotta like go over. Your dream just got to be big enough to push through that and like forget that. I know there are people who can make fun of me, but like, man, look at this dude or whatever. But if you're causing that kind of reaction, like you can be doing something right. You can't listen to those kind of people. Have a strong team around you, and I would say like you got to put your talent out there, but like you can't sell what you won't promote. Like if you got it in you, which I think a lot of talent is inside of us already, just got to get out there to the world. Because how many times are you like around people and like they got talent, like you should do that, but they don't have the confidence, right, to put themselves in a situation where they're exposed as far as like where people they could just hear what they got going on. They're afraid to talk about it. You understand why, like maybe you're not making it. You don't want to talk about it. You don't want to put on no kind of platform, and therefore your own crowd is like like very minimal to the people you secretly tell. But yeah, don't be afraid to put your talent out there.
Yeah.
The ones that are like gonna like really push for you is they'll know when they hear it. They go, oh, what, the person has talent. They might need to link up with this person, put this person right there, but have a conversation, like not only with yourself or with your team, just like people out there that are in the industry that won't like clown you, that won't like surround yourself with people like that.
Yeah.
So therefore you won't seem so foreign to the system.
Yeah.
Or like positive construction, like as far as like criticism and them helping you build. Because honestly, the people around you, they're probably like either jealous of you because you got a talent and they don't have it. Put yourself in a prime situation so you can get like that exposure that you need. Have people talking that positive message so you can really push and get yourself out there, because that's really what it's going to take, man, to break that that glass ceiling that just keeps capping people off. Because if you think about it, there's a lot of people who do that. They put themselves in situations where they can't make that breakthrough because you're talking to people who ain't trying to make that breakthrough, give you the kind of energy that you really need to make that breakthrough.
That's a fact. I guess the Bible says don't throw your pearls to swine. You know what I'm saying? So don't, stay, like you said, stay around positive people. That want to see you build. You know what I'm saying? So
right. Because I've been around like some people like, oh man, you can't act or whatever. Those things will be said, and like I would say this, like you have to deliver that positive message even to yourself, right? You got to have like those positive words, whether it's coming from yourself or others around you, but you got to have it, because there will people to tell you, look, man, you ain't got it, you ain't this, you ain't that. And it's really not good to take in at all. It doesn't mean that because I talk real positive and I move real positive that I don't believe that the negativity exists. I know it's out there, but I need this other stuff inside me, the stuff that I need to say. So I also believe it to move past that and not just get stuck. Because so many people hear something so negative, they'll try something one time and just give up. Like, what, it ain't for me. I tried it. I didn't, so said so, and they'll just get stuck and they won't make that move on to the next level. It's like, why? Like, you only tried it one time, and I always like to use this kind of like metaphor, like answer, like, could you imagine a baby trying to walk for the first time and all of a sudden they stumble and be like, oh, you know what, that baby don't walk, like give up on it. You can't do that. You only try something like one time. So go ahead and try like 10 times, like 12 times, and then see where you're at. Like you only try to think one time and then you got stopped because someone said you couldn't do it, or it didn't end up in the way that you imagined.
I think a lot of people get deterred by that first, like when they don't get it the first time.
Right. Right. Yeah. You got to keep pushing like forward. And that's my biggest thing and stuff. Doesn't mean that I don't think the other stuff doesn't exist. I know it exists. But if you're trying to make that breakthrough, you got to keep pushing forward regardless of what people are saying. There's some people out there. There's someone right now just saying something. They don't like you just because you're you. And if you really want to make that breakthrough, you got to have a bigger vision than like that obstacle over here, that obstacle over there. Like you've got, where you're going with it, like it's okay. Like I said, you're getting closer to that answer that you're looking for. They can't say no to everything, especially if you're like willing to grow, plant the seeds and water them. I always say that all the time. You can plant seeds, but you got to water them. It's got to be in the networking too. There's networking opportunities all around. Even if you're starting in background, talk to the people around, get real familiar with them, get real familiar with the guy around the camera over there, or the second AD, or like it could just be like just like the help around the set, because you'll see some of these people on different sets constantly all the time. But honestly, there's people that aren't just that role. They're another role. Maybe they have their own production company as well. And next thing you know, they're giving you a lead position because they like the way you moved on the set they was on.
Yeah, that's a fact. Like always carry yourself with. Yeah, that's a fact.
Right.
Yeah.
You know? And then you'll have like you'll be in situations where you can advance as far as like, like I believe you're always networking, you're always moving because there's always eyes watching you. You're always auditioning. You're not auditioning sometimes in traditional places. Like you have some people who might say, man, I'm going to the auditions, like when there's like millions of people lined up out the door or whatever. Let me tell you something, develop your elevator pitch. What I'm saying with that is develop your less than 30-second conversation with someone, because it could be something you said like to someone you talking to, a director or someone who's closely connected. That's networking opportunities too. People don't have time, man. They be on the move. You could be in a restaurant, talk about your dream, talk about your passion. You never know who you're sitting next to, right? But also talk it into life. That manifestation, that stuff is real. Because I believe you got to speak onto what you want to see come to life. Yeah. And constantly just build and build. Talk yourself into existence, but be about that life. Like you said, like just showing up, being very present, very conscious about what's going on. Because like a lot of people aren't, they believe, okay, this social media stuff and this, that, man, there's people watching the social media stuff. Like speak yourself in existence. You never know who you're sitting next to. Yeah. I can go to Arnold Schwarzenegger story, right? He got his role just from like being it was a restaurant, talking to the one director of the Terminator, right? He had just came off the Hulk Hogan movie, and like not Hulk Hogan, but I'm saying like he was like Conan or the warrior guy, right? Yeah. And he was just sitting there talking to the director about like, man, you know what? I think you should do the Terminator role like this, the robot role like this. But like he was going to offer him the role, but you got to remember it had like maybe like 80%. It was just all action and 20% just talking. And he had just came off that big win of the that hero movie he had just did. He was like, nah, I ain't gonna do that. But he talked about it so specific about how that robot should move as a like human robot, whatever. And like he offered him the role right then and there. Then he did go back and he got it. And guess what? Terminator turned out to be a big hit. So everybody get used to like non-traditional places where you can get casted just like that. Like you look all this up on Google, like those things happen.
Yeah. Wow. I didn't know that. Yeah. I didn't know that. Cause I'm a movie head. I mean, okay. I like acting so much. I'm a movie head, so I watch like there's movies that people will be like, you ain't never. I talk to them like, yo, you never seen that? Like, oh man, I had to think like people watch movies like I do. You know what I'm saying? Just be watching stuff, just to be watching it. You know what I mean? Just yeah. Mm-hmm. I guess I watch it for just to analyze. Being though, because I was always into acting, so I would analyze a character to pick up traits from him. You know what I'm saying? So like I'm really analyzing the movie outside of what how somebody will watch a movie. I'm watching it from a different angle. Like, oh, you know what I'm saying? Like I'm dissecting their characters, how they're moving, how they're talking, how they're reacting to each other. Most times I figure out the movie before it ends. You know what I'm saying? Sometimes I'm wrong, but most of the time I analyze a movie, like sit there and like, yo, that's the killer right there. They be like, no, you know what I'm saying? But I'll know by that way he moves, what he does. You know what I'm saying? Right. So I'm into movies like that, though. You know what I'm saying? So,
so you're like into like the drama, suspense movies, the mysteries, right?
A little bit. I like all of them, yo. Okay. You know what I'm saying? Like, but those, there might be my favorite. The suspense, like sitting, like making me think. I love those type of movies. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Movies, but me too. I love those type of movies, but I watch everything. I watch werewolf and vampire movies. You know what I'm saying? Like my range is like if it catches my attention, I want it. You know what I'm saying?
Yes. When so did you get a chance to watch that Archive 81 on Netflix? Did you watch that?
About that, I've been hearing about that. No, I haven't heard it. What I'm on right now is Ozark. I'm watching Ozark right now.
Ozark is a very phenomenal series. I like that, man. They got so much suspense and just like edge to it. You don't know what's going to happen, man. Every character in that thing has something going on with them. I think I'm on like episode 4 right now, but yeah,
I might be around the same one, 5 or 6, but 4 or 5. But like even in that, the acting is phenomenal to me. Like the mother. The mother is like she embodied. I might not notice. You know what I'm saying I might see her as that character for the rest of her life. But no matter what she plays, I'm gonna see her. That's how good she is in that character to me. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Even the dad, his scared sarcasm. Like he's like he's scared but he's sarcastic at the same time. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, like he's a real great character. You know, there's characters too like that. You know, like this you could just watch them and stuff. Some characters that you're gonna fall in love with. Some characters you're like, oh man, that character. Oh goodness. You know, I don't really like that son, but the son is doing his part though. You know, like I don't like the way he moves. You know, huh?
No, I figure if I hate you in the movie, you did your job in the role.
Yes. Yeah.
Because I hated Samuel L. Jackson's character.
What? Oh, Samuel and Django?
Yeah. Oh man, I hated that.
You did such a good role in that. But like, you have a lot of people like that. That like his role was so phenomenal. You know, like in doing that, just seeing him do it, like, dang man, you know. But I can imagine growing up in that time and just that kind of character, that kind of person, you know, back then, you know, like you had those kind of people, you know, that like that, you know.
It was to a T. He definitely. I like Samuel L. too. He's one of my favorites. Like, you know what I'm saying? He's like my undertale based on the characters he played and hearing his story. Of how he became, saying like, because most people don't know, like he's a I don't want to say socialist. What's the word I'm looking for? Because back in the day, he changed his principle in the gymnasium.
Yes, I heard about that. He was a real big activist.
Yeah, That's the word I'm looking for. The activist. Yeah, he was a big activist. Like so I'm intrigued at him as a person. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Acting, you know what I mean?
But just seeing his story, like if you know his bio, coming from like the drug abuse that he did, right? And like having the wife that he is with now, you know, like stayed with him through all that time, help him get back on the feet. And obviously he become a phenomenal actor, you know, but like he talks about these things too, you know, even being on the set, what's the movie I'm trying to think of that when he robbed the place, he had the wig on. You know what I'm talking about? What is that called? What movie is that?
Pulp Fiction.
Yeah, Pulp Fiction. That was when he said it was a little bit high on that one. Well, coming down, I would say he didn't get over his drug addiction. Oh, but he was great, great in that, man. You know,
and to know that he was in movies.
Mm-hmm.
And was still like that. You know what I'm saying? Like still having an addiction problem. You know what I'm saying? And still like pulling through. Because what's the set? Long Kiss Goodnight.
Okay, yeah.
Remember that movie? Like he was talking about being on the set like there, you know what I'm saying, being like a crackhead basically. You know what I'm saying? But still maintaining his to be in the
right.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, isn't that like interesting where you can see people who are phenomenal like that still perform and do this performance that is like, you know, like it's just like amazing. But then they still have like these interpersonal problems or just personal problems that they're dealing with going on in their life. That's why you never know what someone is going through. You can't just judge them off of like, hey man, seeing you on TV, you must be doing just well. You know, like everything, you know, like, well, they're human too, you know, but just see him, you know, deliver something like that, you know, like, and, you know, coming out of or was coming out of it, you know, like is amazing to me, you know, and overcoming it was just as amazing as well.
Yeah.
You know, but like you were talking about earlier, going back even on the Ledger, being really deep into like his character where he couldn't break free of that. And, you know, then you got like Robin Williams.
Yeah, Robin Williams. He's like,
yeah, like him too. Phenomenal actor. You know, like just hearing him speak when he's, you know, like even on Good Will Hunting, right? The guy talked about as far as like him being in the character, he would change the lines all the time, ad-lib him. I said, wow, that's some good dialogue. To be able to ad-lib him and switch him every time, but that's how good he was.
Yeah,
you know, but he was still facing some of the things that he was facing. And you look at some of these people, man, doing these amazing things, and but also like how I will always say that mental health is very important. If you need help, go out to go and go get have that conversation. That could be from a pastor or someone who's very close to you, or if you got to hire like a mental therapist. Having that conversation with someone who has your greatest intentions, like for you to succeed. Like that's where like you need to be. Because a lot of people out there don't have the, like good intentions for you. So,
fact.
You might be just delivering some information to them they can care less about, like where you're at health wise, because there's a lot of like people out there doing the silent cry, but you don't even know they're going through something. And being able to like release to like someone who really truly cares about you and seeing you get better, like it's going to help you along the way. So you don't have to face, the ultimate end, which is like, like if it's going to be like death, with some of those people. But it's just healing, but just going back on Samuel Jackson, just seeing his person just develop over time, man. He's phenomenal.
He definitely is. Yeah.
Lots of respect.
And to speak on your point of mental health, they're like, because there was a recently, maybe the last couple of days, one of the Miss America pageant winners just jumped from a balcony and killed herself. So you know what I'm saying? She was at the height of the world, but still, you know what I'm saying, not mentally right up here.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So like that's a powerful point. You could be on top of the world and still be dealing with problems. You know what I'm saying? Like it don't miss you because of how much money you got. You know what I'm saying?
Right. A lot of people they go through things and they may see that the persona that they have up there on social media or just the public might be just overtaking them. And when they're not living up to that persona, sometimes you never know what someone's going to do. But I'm just saying, like sometimes people take that really hard, that they have to live this life that ain't me. And they're trying to connect back with, define some kind of realism in themselves.
Mm-hmm.
Can't get back there. I think that's where a lot of people get stuck. It's a persona of what the public sees of you, and they always want you. And that's why, you can't be just praying on to live someone else's life, because you gotta live your life. You can't just oh God, what's my life? Because you never know what they're going through. I always will say that. You never know, like, what it took a person to get what they got, like whether it's their car, their house, or whatever that kind of life. You never know. You might not want that kind of life, because they might be a prisoner in their own world they created, and all of a sudden they've got to live that kind of life, and they're trying to break free from it, right? They're praying for that. You never know what it takes for them to keep what they got, or what they're doing and stuff. So don't be longing for someone else's items. Don't be materialistic. So like that's how I stay grounded. It's just like
that was my next question. That was my next question. What keeps you grounded? Like how do you stay grounded in this? Because you can definitely lose your head in it.
Yeah. Like I said, like going back to the persona, right? You can you don't even know who you are. I think some of these people that we talked about earlier, they've lost their identity. So for me to stay grounded, I've got to go to church, or I got to listen to like a good word, whether it's like T.D. Jakes, or like or it could be like a pastor Stanley K. Smith is what like these people to listen to get that good word in me. Mm-hmm. So I am grounded. And know that like I'm surrounded by people who are also love me, which is like, family members as well. People have the greatest intentions for me. That's how I stay grounded, because you got to, because you can lose your head as far as like, oh man, like I'm up here and doing this and doing that. And I don't want to be like a slave to my persona that I'm trying to create or whatever. I understand that was a character there, right? Yeah. And then you don't want to just, lose yourself, like, because it's very easy to lose yourself, because, like you don't want to be that person basically doing anything and anything just for like money, like, oh, I have money, so I'll do this and I'll do that. For you're doing that stuff like every day, and if money pay for a lot of things, but there's some things you don't want in your life. Yeah, that's how. So let You know, if they, you know, like some things you be like, you know what, that's okay. I don't need that kind of money.
Yeah, because like if you're a slave to money, you'll do anything for it. And I've heard
Absolutely.
some stories. You know what I'm saying? Like
Mhm.
I've heard of stars that just like reaching for that star and doing anything
Mhm.
for that star that destroys their life. You know what I'm
Right.
saying?
Right.
You definitely got
I
to
would
be.
say this. I would say this, like even being like, I'm always gonna be like, I think a people's person. I'm not gonna be one of those people. Like, oh man, I ain't a people's person. And I do understand, like once you get so famous, you gotta, you know, like protect yourself in some right with like security or whatnot as well. But you got some people, like you said, that will lose identity of themselves, so they're not even human no more. They treat people like they're not human. I don't see myself ever being like that, like ever. You know, like I come like when I'm like out there traveling, but then I come back to Pittsburgh. You know, like so I've been in those familiar areas and stuff. I can look at different parts where I filmed that, like, you know what? I remember when it was like, you know, like whether it's like near this bus stop over here or like I said, playing ball over here, I was doing that like on a regular basis. But you never know how closely things are related that you're already doing. You're only a step or two away from like doing what you really love if you're pursuing it.
Yeah,
You know what? You never know what tied into that. There's so many familiar different areas and stuff. You know, I remember like doing a film down there as far as like Manhunter down there where Wood Street and everything. They had a problem blocking off Wood Street. And I'm thinking like this is the most busiest street like ever, and they didn't block it off all the way. They're like, what are all these people? These people out here, they're just like walking. And I say it's the most busiest bus stop. What you mean? You
right.
know, or people would see me, they would come up to me, what's up, Demon? What's up? What's going on? I said, man, actually, I'm filming a movie right now. So, what's up, man?
Yeah,
You know,
right.
and they was like, that's what's up. So that was cool to see some familiar faces that would see me in action doing things. And like, you know, where some of the other, you know, people that come from out of town, they don't know so-and-so people. And, you know, they're not familiar with them or whatever and stuff. But I'm familiar with a lot of the areas here in Pittsburgh because I've been there. And I know a lot of the people, and they would, and just seeing them and connecting with them and everything. I'm like, man, I see you, man. That's what's up. And
Yeah.
you know, and they, you know, but like that's like just cool, like really cool to connect with people for me.
Yeah, I definitely want to. I want to salute you and all you do. 'Cause I see your work. I see your work and all you do. You know what I'm saying? I want to salute you. You know what I'm saying? Like, I feel like you're a central piece in the building of our tribe. When I mean tribe is our people. You know what I'm saying? I feel like you're like someone they should look forward to and following.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? So that's why I wanted to bring you on, just to give you a story, you know what I'm saying? Give you what you do and how you do it, you know what I'm saying? Because I'm watching, you know what I'm saying? You're definitely doing your thing, brother. And I pray for your continued success, you know what I'm saying? To where, you know what I'm saying, you and Denzel working on the movie together, directing, you know what I'm saying? So
Yeah, I appreciate that, man. You know, like, and ever since I met you, you've always been like, you know, like very positive, like in my life, as far as like, you know, like your messaging, you know, like you was real, like real positive, like even being on a set that we had did. So I appreciate that support, man. You know, like I always remember, like, and I would tell people this is an interesting story. I remember when I was doing acting, and I was doing the play, you know, Little Mouse, Little Cat Get a Mouse. That's what it was. You know, I remember when I didn't have a car, I would say this, and you drove me and dropped me off at one bus stop. And then you came back, and then like you actually picked me up, and then you drove me to like my area where I was gonna go home or whatnot. From in town and everything, because the place didn't look too. I don't know, like it was just dark. I don't know if the bus would have came. I don't know. Like, I just remember that story, man. Like, and I thought, like, man, you know, that was real cool, man. Like, so, like, definitely, you're a real one for that. You know, for doing that. And I always remember that story, man. Like about you. So you're very like authentic. You know, I remember when you did that, because who knows, man, that was like in the middle of the night.
When I went down the trail, like, yo, this is like, I can't leave. I can't leave.
It was cool, man. Like, and I always remember that. I tell people that. I said, man, you know what? He circled back and he got me. Because I remember I was sitting there. We just got doing a play. I remember I was in the trench coat and the suit. It was something like that. And I had the suitcase and you know, like, yeah, and you came back, and I was like, that's what's up, man. Like, okay,
I
cool.
couldn't leave you there, brother. You know what I'm saying? I can't leave him there. You know what I'm saying? I gotta get him somewhere. Lit up. You know what I'm saying? If I can't get you where you're going, I'm gonna get you somewhere where it's lit up and you're safe. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Cause it was like one light there, and everything was dark, and I was like, so I just want people to know that story, that he was a real one to come back, because who knows, God knows what would have happened or whatnot. You hear about these crazy stories and stuff. I was like, man, you know what? This is, man, real cool dude, man, real cool.
He spoke to me that night. You know what I'm saying? I was like, he spoke to me that night, brother. I was like, I gotta go get him. I can't leave him there. You know what I'm saying?
I appreciate that.
Let them know where they can find you at, brother. You know what I'm saying? We're going to conclude this. You know what I mean? We've been on an hour and 15 minutes. Well, probably longer than that. But
all right.
All right. Tell everybody where you at. You know what I'm saying? We're going to close it out with that, brother.
Okay. So if you find me on Instagram, you can find me on Driven by Daniel. Okay. And then you can also find me at Daniel A. Johnson. That's my page on Facebook. Okay, so go ahead and like that if you want to follow my journey as far as my acting career. Okay. You can also follow the Johnson Twins Productions, because we'll be coming out with some different movies here pretty soon. They're already in the works all the time. So that's Johnson Twins Production. That's on Facebook. And then if you want to listen to like even like the podcast of the latest thing, like this one right here, live on air, you can find us on Pittsburgh's Hot List. But like I said, follow me on Facebook, Daniel A. Johnson, or Driven by Daniel on Instagram.
That JPTV group, what is that?
Oh, that's Johnson Twins page, like as far as like Johnson Twins TV. Okay, and that's what we do with the live or anything that's happening interesting in the city of Pittsburgh. Okay, so that's what we do with that.
All right, brother. I definitely appreciate you coming on, brother. Like I said, I pray for your continued success. I pray God keep touching you and moving you forward, brother, because like I said, you're one of the lights that we need out here. You know what I'm saying?
Okay. All right. Appreciate you for having me. Thank you.
Doubt, brother. Catch you in a minute.
All right.
Okay. And that's the conclusion of this episode of Problems and Solutions podcast. I thank y'all for tuning in. Check my man's out. He definitely, you know what I'm saying, he got some movies in the works. He has a resume that he's on his way. You know what I'm saying? You can hear from the people he's working with. Chadwick Boseman, rest in peace. Denzel Washington, Viola Davis. You know what I'm saying? So he's been around some influential people. You know what I'm saying? So check him out and rock with him. This is another episode of Problems and Solutions podcast brought to you by Moyes Lifestyle Media. And be out of here. God bless. Y'all stay up.